Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Pick Six, Week 7 of the NFL season. I can't believe we're already almost halfway through. This year's flying by. Let's go ahead and meet this week's panel.
Hey guys, I'm Marshall. I'm back off my bye week and ready to tear it up.
I'm Mike. I'm here to come back from our little break and let's see how we do.
What's up, everybody? I'm Ben, and I am ready to pick some football games.
First game we're picking this week, Atlanta at the Detroit Lions. Atlanta's still been pretty much of a disappointment so far this year, and the Lions, on the other side of things, were undefeated until last week, going down to San Francisco. Guys, do you think Detroit drops 2 in a row?
Well, after their 5-0 start, Detroit picks up their first loss, and now we have to see how this young team will respond to it. One of the major things I look for is the battle of the run defenses this week. Jabba Best is out for Detroit, probably. Meanwhile, Michael Turner could have a great day against this Detroit run D. However, when I look at this game, the one thing that stands out to me is Calvin Johnson. He has 9 touchdowns already, which is more than 2 teams in the NFL have, total. As far as I can tell, this Matt Stafford, Calvin Johnson hookup is a big success, and I think that'll be the difference here. I think Detroit will pull it out in the end.
I'm going to have to also go with Detroit in this one. Atlanta has been a big disappointment this year. They haven't beaten that many good teams. And Detroit, I know they slipped up against San Francisco, but the Calvin Johnson-Matthew Stafford connection is too good. Ndamukong Suh is still there, and they might be getting back their first-round pick, Nick Fairley, which could be a bad thing.
Matt Ryan's first game was against the Detroit Lions. His first pass that he threw was a touchdown pass against the Detroit Lions. The Falcons have played. Their home is a dome, and so they know how crowd noise affects the game. The Falcons also know that this is a do-or-die game for them because they know that they need to win this game if they want to be in the hunt for the playoffs. I think the Falcons will pull it out over Detroit this week.
Look at Ben, still believing in the Falcons. I like it. Second game this week, Houston Texans traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans coming off their bye week. Guys, does Chris Johnson get things going finally? He's gotten a little bit better each week. Or does Arian Foster and that powerful Texans offense, even without Andre Johnson, win this one on the road?
Well, it looks like these two teams are going to be battling out for the NFC South, or the AFC South, all year. And as Brian said, it's going to come down to the running games. Arian Foster versus Chris Johnson. Now, Chris Johnson has looked weak at the beginning of the season, not his usual self, but he's coming off a bye week, could be ready to explode this week. I really hope so. My fantasy team could really use him to turn it on. I just think that ultimately this game is going to be very tight, but the home field advantage is going to give Tennessee just a little edge they need to pull this one out.
I'm going to have to go with Houston on this one. I know that Tennessee's coming off a bye week. I know that Houston had a bad loss against Baltimore, but Baltimore is a good team this year, so I don't blame them for it. And they did just lose Mario Williams for the season, but I think that Houston's offense with Arian Foster, Owen Daniels, and Matt Schaub are going to be their new 3 to go and take the team to the lead.
Houston knows they need to stick with Tennessee in order to stay within the AFC South division race. And they are coming into that game with a chip on their shoulder, and I think that they're going to end up beating the Titans this week.
Yeah, Arian Foster and Chris Johnson, maybe a matchup of the 2 best running backs in the AFC. Third game this week, San Diego going to take on the Jets on the road. Chargers coming off a bye week. On the other side of things, the Jets fresh off a Monday Night Football with a little bit of a short week. Guys, do you think that rest is going to help San Diego out, or do you think the Jets are going to finally get back on track a little bit, use some momentum from beating the lowly Dolphins?
Well, the Jets have always relied on their defense to help them out in times like this when they have a short week. But this year, their defense just doesn't look as good. Their run defense is allowing over 130 yards a game. And as long as Ryan Matthews and Mike Tolbert get healthy for this week, I think the Chargers can take advantage. On the other side of the ball, Rivers, if he can stop turning the ball over, which is not an easy thing against this opportunistic Jets defense, I think as long as he stays consistent, as long as he doesn't make any big mistakes, he can beat out Mark Sanchez, and I think the Chargers will win.
The New York Jets did terrible against the Dolphins. They went 3 and out 6 times against the winless Miami Dolphins. They were outrushed by the terrible Miami Dolphins and Reggie Bush and Daniel Thomas. Well, the defense isn't looking as good as it used to. In San Diego with that bye week, really good timing on the bye week. They got Ryan Matthews to get better with his ankle. They got Mike Tolbert to get better with his concussion. They got Malcolm Floyd better with his groin. I think that they're going to have a lot better offense than the Jets, and they're going to pull it out.
The game hasn't even begun, and we've already seen it being battled out in the press with Rex Ryan and Norv Turner having it out with each other. Both teams really have something to prove this week, and I think that everybody knows Mark Sanchez is not as good of a quarterback as Phillip Rivers. He may have home field advantage with him, but that hasn't helped the Jets out when it comes down to it. I think San Diego's going to be winning this one.
Wow, so nobody buying the Jets. I'll take the Jets. I think they're going to win, but who am I? I'm just the host. The fourth game this week, the Bears traveling to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Guys, do you think Jay Cutler's got enough in him to survive playing behind that Chicago offensive line, or do you think the upstart Bucs keep it going this week? Josh Freeman make enough plays to win?
Well, actually, Brian, both teams will be traveling this week across the pond to play the game in London. Josh Freeman, after starting the season, got a lot of flack from the media. He looked great last week. And even though Blunt is going to be out for the second week in a row, Ernest Graham has stepped up and looked good too. Meanwhile, Matt Forte seems to be the only thing going for Chicago, and he can't carry him forever. I think the fact that Tampa Bay has played in London before, they'll be ready to play this week. Chicago, I'd never know what to expect with them, so I got to take the Buccaneers.
It's true that Tampa Bay had a great game against the Saints. They caused Drew Brees to have 3 picks, which is not very common for him to do. But I think that was more of a fluke than the norm for them. And I'm going to have to say that Chicago's defense is a lot better. Matt Forte, he's shown that he can carry them through at least a game. And I think that the upstart show from Devin Hester last week was pretty impressive. I like the Chicago Bears in this one.
The Bucs are riding a lot of momentum after their win over the Saints last week. Gerald McCoy is going to destroy that Chicago offensive line. He's going to destroy Jay Cutler. We've already seen that Jay Cutler is not happy with the way the offense is going. He's not in the good graces of his offensive coordinator, Mike Martz. There's too much internal conflict on the Bears for them to be able to mount a successful game against the Bucs. So I'm picking Tampa Bay.
Yeah, thanks, Marshall. Tampa Bay and London, I get those two mixed up all the time. Fifth game this week, Kansas City at Oakland. Kind of an under-the-radar but intriguing game because the Raiders going out and getting Carson Palmer this week. Never thought I'd see him in the silver and black. Guys, do you think the Raiders can win this game against the Chiefs, who haven't exactly been very good this year, especially once they lost Jamal Charles in week 1? And do you think Carson Palmer will play?
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that Carson Palmer is going to start this game. I mean, it's him or Kyle Bowler, and nobody wants that. But while he will be a good quarterback, I think, for them in the long run, I don't think he can just come in, get the system, and go right off the bat. I think the Raiders know that, so you're going to see heavy doses of Darren McFadden. On the other side of the ball, the Chiefs, they lose Jamal Charles, but they have a pretty good actual backup combo of Jackie Battle, Dexter McCluster, and Thomas Jones. And I think if all three of them can run well, I think Kansas City can pull out the upset in this one.
No, I know Carson Palmer was signed Tuesday and expects to play Sunday, but I still think he's going to do pretty well. I think that Darren McFadden is going to have his usual great game, and I think that the defense is going to do pretty well as well also. And if you see Sebastian Janikowski kicking maybe 5-6 field goals again, I think it'll be enough for the Raiders to take this one because Kansas City just does not have it this year. The only teams they've beaten are at the bottom of the barrel, just like Kansas City.
This is a fierce division rivalry. With the loss of Jason Campbell, a lot of the Raiders fans were clearly pretty miffed, but I think with the signing of Carson Palmer, they've been reignited, and the black hole is going to show up, and they are going to give Kansas City hell. Carson Palmer is going to be riding on the home field momentum, and like Marshall said, we're going to see a lot of Darren McFadden running the ball. I think that Oakland will win this one.
Personally, I think you're going to see a lot of miscommunications on that Oakland offense. I think a lot of balls probably sailing over receivers' heads from Carson Palmer. But like you guys said, the Chiefs just haven't been all that good. I don't know. I'm glad I didn't have to pick this one. For the sixth game this week, though, we're going to do something a little different. Rather than having a set matchup, We're going to go ahead and get an upset special pick from each of our panelists. Guys, shock me.
You ready to be shocked, Brian? I am taking the Vikings. Yes, the Vikings over the Packers this week. Why, you ask me? Well, this is a rivalry game. They're always close. The Vikings are at home. They have a new quarterback in. Everyone's going to be pumped up, ready to go. They want to prove to the world that they're not done yet. And they have Adrian Peterson. How bad can you be with Adrian Peterson? I don't know. Something just tells me Green Bay has to lose sometime, right? I don't want to hear about any more undefeated talk. I'm taking the Vikings.
I'm going to have to go with Arizona's division mate, Seattle, and pick them over the Browns because I just don't see the Browns being very good. Peyton Hillis is probably going to miss the game. Joe Hayden, their best corner, is being a little iffy with an injury as well. I just think that Seattle is going to have one of their streaky one good game of the three maybe, and they're going to pull it out.
Look at my arms. As you can see, there is not a watch on either of these arms, but I do know what time it is. It's Tebow time! And the Miami Dolphins know this as well, and they are going to get killed. Tim Tebow, fierce leader, back in his home state of Florida. He's going to be running that offense like nobody's business. And even though this is supposed to be an upset pick and the Dolphins are winless, Miami is still favored with their home field advantage. Tim Tebow's still going to beat them.
All right, so let me get this straight. Marshall, you're picking Christian Ponder to defeat Aaron Rodgers. Mike, you're going with Clipboard Jesus, Charlie Whitehurst. And Ben's going with Tim Tebow on the road. Maybe this upset special wasn't such a good idea. But that's it for Pick Six this week. For Marshall, for Mike, and for Ben, I'm Brian. Thanks for watching. Hopefully it's a crazy slate of games Sunday.